8 picofarad, right? So this is how we can find out the transition capacitance of a varactor diode. Let's take another type of example for the same junction capacitance, that is the transition capacitance of a varactor diode. It says that the junction capacitance of an abrupt junction diode is 20 picofarad at 5 volt. Now we will have to compute the capacitance, the decrease in capacitance for 1 volt. Say at 5 volt we are getting 20 picofarad. Now if we increase the biasing by 1 volt, what will be the decrease in capacitance? That we have to find out. How can we find it out? How the capacitance of a material, of a PN junction diode, depends on the voltage, the provided voltage. As we know that the varactor diode works in the reverse bias itself, so we have to provided it with a suffix R. So how the junction diode capacitance depends upon or proportional to the voltage of the reverse bias voltage provided to the diode? It is actually directly proportional to the root of the voltage that is provided. So we can have here two capacitance, one at 5 volt, one at the increased voltage, that is the voltage is increased by 1 volt. So we can have CT1, the ratio says the CT2 to CT1, that can be given as, it is actually inversely proportional, so that can be given as VR1 upon VR2 to raised to half, right? So we can easily find out the CT2, the next capacitance value, by multiplying this CT1 into this ratio VR1 by VR2 raised to half, right? So CT1 is what? 20 picofarad, right? And what is the ratio of VR1 and VR2? That is 5 by 6. 5 by 6 raised to half. What is the answer? The answer says that it is 18.25 picofarad, and this is actually CT2. The question is that we should find out the decrease in the junction capacitance with the increase in the reverse bias voltage. So what will be the decrease in capacitance? It is actually CT2 minus CT1, or sorry, CT1 minus CT2, that is 20 minus 18.25, and that is 1.75 picofarad. As we have learnt while we were learning the varactor diode, as we have learnt that as and when the junction voltage increases, the diode capacitance decreases. So if I draw a CT versus VR graph, then we can have this type of characteristics, right? So this characteristic shows that reverse voltage increases, the diode capacitance decreases. This is purely reflected in the example, that with the increase in the reverse voltage from 5 volt to 6 volt, the junction capacitance has decreased by 1.75 picofarad. Okay, so now we can have another example of Hall effect that we have just studied. It says that a copper strip, it is actually a Cu strip, that is 2.0 centimeter wide. B is equal to 2.0 centimeter and 1.0 millimeter thick, right? So it is placed in a magnetic field B, that is 1.5 Weber per meter square. we are given different values. If current 200 ampere is set up, that is I is equal to 200 ampere. Now we have to find out the VH, and we are also given RH. RH we have to assume that is 6 into 10 raised to minus 7 meter cube per coulomb, right? The RH, the unit of RH is meter cube per coulomb. Why? Because RH is equal to 1 over Ne. We are just deriving, the byproduct of this example is the derivation of the unit of RH. RH, what is the unit of N? It is actually charge carrier concentration. It can be measured per meter cube. And what is the unit of E? It is coulomb. So we can derive the RH unit as meter cube. Meter cube will go upside and it is meter cube per coulomb. Okay, so here we are given this values in this example. How can we find out the whole voltage? Whole voltage can be found out as RH, VH is equal to RH IB upon T. Just substituting the values. What is RH? 6 into 10 raised to minus 7. I is 200. B is what? 1.5 Weber per meter square, divided by, what is that? T. It is the thickness, 1.0 millimeter, that is 10 raised to minus 3 meter. What is the answer? That is 0.18 volt. Okay, right? The next example is about the current density. Actually, we can find out, as I said you, that we can find out the mobility of the material, of the charge carrier, say electron mobility, through using this RH value. But I can also find out the current density J using the same mobility value. It is mu E into E divided by RH. And using this equation we will do our next example. Next example says that an electric field of 100 volt per meter is applied to a sample of N-type semiconductor whose Hall coefficient RH is minus 0.0125 meter cube per coulomb. This minus signifies that the majority charge carrier are electrons, right? And we have to determine the current density, given that mu E is equal to 0.36 meter square per volt per second, right? So what will be the value? Just substituting the values here in the equation of current density, 0.36 into 100 divided by, what is the value of RH? It is 0.0125, that is negative. What will be the answer? It is 2880, which is negative, of course, ampere per meter square, right? So this is how we can also determine the current density inside the material using the value of Hall coefficient RH. Now a bit difficult example involving two things to be found out. In a Hall coefficient experiment, a current of 0.25 ampere is sent through a metal strip. It has the thickness of 0.2 millimeter and width B of 5 millimeter. Determine the current density in the sample. Current density that we have to find out, assuming that a field of, that is magnetic field of 0.2 Tesla is used, right? And also we have to find out the eta, that is eta, that is the carrier concentration we have to find out. Also we have to find out the drift velocity of the carriers, that is Vd. Current density we can find out from the previous example, right? It is one and the same thing, but the major thing that we have to find out here is charge carrier concentration and the drift velocity. Drift velocity is a very important thing when we think about the transport properties of the material. Now, how can we find out eta, or say the charge carrier concentration? Eta can be found from IB VH ET. How have we derived this equation? Say, we have one equation, that is VH is equal to, we have used this in the previous example, IB upon RH into T. What is RH? Sorry, RH will be here. What is RH? RH will be 1 over NE. We have just substituted that value of RH and we have derived this equation for N or eta, that is the charge carrier concentration. We are just substituting the values. 0.25 current, B is what? It is 0.2 Tesla divided by VH value is what? 15. We are given actually the VH value here as 0.15 millivolt. 0.15 millivolt. E, all of us know, 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb, and T, thickness, that is 0.2 millimeter. So we have to convert it into meter in order to get the SI system working. Answer is 1.04 into 10 raised to 25 per meter cube. Why per meter cube? Because we are finding out the charge carrier concentration. Next one is to find out drift velocity. Say drift velocity can be found from this equation. You know that current density J is equal to NE into Vd. So it is J upon NE, and J upon NE can be converted, current density is I upon A, it can be converted as NE WT. W is the width, say this is B, which can be equivalent to W. W is width, T is the thickness. When we multiply this two, it will be the area. And here we can have the value of NE, that 1 over NE, that is VH WB. This is actually simple derivation just by substituting the values of different quantities, and we can have VH as 15 into 10 raised to minus 5V divided by W, that is 5 millimeter, 5 into 10 raised to minus 3 meter, and the field is already in Tesla, that is 0.2 T, and that we can have as an answer the 15 centimeter per second, right? So this is one type of example. Now we can move to another one. That example says that it is actually asked in the latest paper, the latest exam paper, that is summer 2013. It says that a silicon plate of thickness 1 millimeter, it is a silicon plate thickness 1 millimeter, breadth 10 millimeter and length 10 centimeter. It is placed, we are given all the three dimensions. We have to choose what we need in our example, right? It is placed in a magnetic field of say 0.5 Weber per meter square. It is acting perpendicular to the thickness. Of course it is Hall effect, so magnetic field should be perpendicular. If 10 milliampere current flows along its length, calculate the hole voltage developed if the hole coefficient RH is 3.66 into 10 raised to minus 4 meter cube per coulomb. Which equation we will be using? Just think about that. Which equation can be used here? We have to find out the hole voltage. we are given RH, we are given I, we are given B, and also we are given LBT, all of them. We can find out the whole voltage using VH is equal to IB RH, or say RHIB divided by T. It is very simple example. Just by substituting the values we can have the value of VH, right? Is it okay? Okay, we will have the next example here. Next example is that the conductivity and the Hall coefficients are given. Now we have to find out the mobility here. Whenever conductivity is given as 112 ohm inverse meter inverse, right? The Hall coefficient RH of the material, of the given material, it is actually n-type silicon material. It is 1.25 into 10 raised to minus 4 meter cube per coulomb. We have to find out the charge carrier density and the electron mobility. Charge carrier density N and the electron mobility mu, right? What will be mu? As I said you earlier, it is sigma RH. What is sigma? Sigma is given as 112, RH is 1.25 into 10 raised to minus 4. So we can have 0.014 meter square per volt per second. That is the mobility. And what will be Ne? That is the charge carrier concentration. It can be found either from RH, that is RH is equal to 1 over Ne, or it can be found from different equation, sigma upon mu E into E. It is also derived from, and one can easily find out N as 10 raised 5 into 10 raised to 22 electrons per meter cube, right? Now another example that we can have for this Hall effect is say when the Hall coefficient RH is found to be minus 7.35 into 10 raised to minus 5 meter square per coulomb. It can be from 100 to 400 K.